gang. So I'm going to start off, if I was doing this as my filmed assessment, I would obviously need to welcome my class and I would do a little bit of health and safety at the start. So I would be asking my class if there was any injuries, if anyone was pregnant, anything that I needed to let my class know about, I would be going through. And also I would be advising them on any health and safety within the facility. So was there going to be any fire alarms going off? If the fire alarm did go off, it would be a real fire, so we would need to evacuate. Where the toilets are, making sure everyone's got water, and also that it was ventilated, so that, you know, whatever room you're in, if you've got, for instance, air conditioning, if you needed to change that at all, you could, or at least just open windows and make sure you've got plenty of air in there. Like I said, you don't have to use music, but if you do want to use music, there is actually a point of the criteria that talks about setting an appropriate atmosphere. So that really kind of covers that ticks that box. I'm going to start you in your perfect Pilates posture. So I call it my PPP, all right? We're going to start with our feet together, and then we're going to turn our toes out to the corners of the room. Now, being in this kind of first position, or our V position, naturally engages the inner thighs, and your inner thighs lap over pelvic floor. They play a huge role with your pelvic floor, so it naturally engages pelvic floor. It also engages the muscles in your bottom, so you can feel those kick in. Again, the glutes play a huge role with your back health and your pelvic floor health. So we've already got that kind of happening without even having to think about it. But I do understand that standing in that position can be quite awkward for a lot of people, and especially for beginners, they might find that really unbalancing. So I'm going to ask you to keep all of that connection, still think about your inner thighs, still think about your glutes, but I want you to realign your heels with your toes. What that also does is it brings your feet directly under your hip bones. Now, a lot of your clients, if you ask them to stand with their feet under their hips, they have no idea of where that is. They'll either stand really wide or they'll stand really narrow. So it gives them a natural, instinctive position to be able to come into. So toes wide, and then realign the heels with the toes. I want you to think about an even distribution of your weight between your right and your left foot. Think about your big toe, your little toe, and the back of your heel. Can you feel all those points? I want you to be able to feel them throughout the class and not put too much weight either forward or back, or not put too much weight inside or outside. So we're really even. We're not standing and slouching to one side. Yeah? Come up through the legs, and I want you to create the strength around the joints rather than putting tension in the joints. So we don't want to lock the knees. Instead, we want to put tension into the muscles to help support the joint. So think about your knees being strong, not locked. Yeah? So we've got a strong position. Maybe a slight bend. As we've already talked about, the muscles in the bum play a huge role with your back health and your pelvic floor health. Keep them tight, so keep them nice and strong. And then your pelvis is going to come into a neutral position. So the way I do it is I've got two ways to kind of bring you into neutral. The first way is to rock your pelvis forward and back. And just see today how much movement that's got in it. Now that will change on a daily basis. It will be completely individual to you. So I don't want you to compare yourself with anyone else. Think about all the way forward being point A, all the way back being point C. We're going to find point B, somewhere in between, which is our midline position between the two extremes. So I would never want you to exercise in point A, and I would never want you to exercise in point C, although we work through them. I want you to find point B. And neutral is your safest place for your lower back, and it's the most effective place to engage the abdominals. So we're going to try and stay in neutral for as long as possible, or at least use it as a start and end point. If you're a visual learner, though, or if you've got visual clients, you might want to make a diamond with your fingers and your thumb. Put that diamond under your belly button. The fingers go to the pubic bone, heels of the hands go to the hip bones. You're aiming to make a straight line vertically between your fingers and your thumb. So when I stand normally, I've got a little bit of lordosis. So I've got quite a lordotic spine, I've got an anterior tilt on my pelvis, and my tummy protrudes forward. And that's just from repetition of doing quite a lot of dance and gymnastics when I was younger. So if I put my diamond there and I stand normally, I can't actually see my fingers. I can see my thumbs, but I can't see my fingers. If I then make my diamond straight, so I can see my fingers, I'm now in my neutral. And that should feel different. But I know the diamond's not right for everyone. Because if you've got anybody in your class who has got quite a large tummy, then essentially that diamond won't work for them because their tummy's kind of in the way, it's already in that position. So think about staying in the neutral that works for you, either the rock or the diamond, all right? Lengthen up through the rest of the body, grow lovely and tall. Shoulders come up, down and away from your ears. So the back is lovely and long. And the head's just on the horizon. You're not jutting your chin forward or taking your chin too far down. It's nice and natural. What I want you to do is place one hand on your rib cage and then one hand on the front of your belly. And if it feels good for you, ladies, close your eyes. But if it doesn't, keep them open. And I just want you to take a couple of deep breaths. Breathing in through the nose and breathing out through the nose or the mouth, whichever works for you. Now, I'm not going to ask you to change anything just yet. All I want you to do is be aware of your breath. Think about what's happening under your hands. I'm hoping that as you're breathing in, you're feeling your ribcage expand. You're feeling your belly expand. And as you're breathing out, you're feeling them move back in. So we change from this shallow breath to a more diaphragmatic and lateral breath. Just spend some time there. It's not going to be a massive movement, but you should be able to feel the ribcage move and the belly move. And what I'm going to ask you to do now is as you exhale the next time, you are going to brace your abdominals. So you're going to feel firm and tense through the tummy. You're not going to suck your abs in, because that's not going to be beneficial at all. Instead, we are going to engage and brace. Almost as if I'm going to throw a big heavy basketball at your tummy. And I want you to let that basketball bounce straight off. So it's not going to hurt you. Instead, you're going to feel strong, like a cylinder round the waist. When we've got that going on, I want you just to take a moment to think about how you feel today. So is there any areas that you're holding tension to? Forget for a moment that you're on a course. And I want you just to enjoy this 45 minutes just for you. So keeping everything in our alignment, staying with our lateral breath, and staying centered through our tummy. We slowly drop the chin down on the chest. And then move that head back. So I don't want you to hyperextend the neck, but I want us to release the neck. We've all been looking at a computer or a phone or an iPad the whole of this morning. So I want you just to let that release. If it feels better for you as you take the head back, open your mouth, relax your jawline, and then bring that back. Whenever you're ready, take your head over to one side, and then roll that down and round, over to the other side. So big rotations through. Allow the shoulders to come away from the ears. Neck is long. Think about here, ladies, is there a side that feels tighter? Do you need to stay on that side a little bit longer? When you're ready, hold the head down. Roll the shoulders back. So I want you to be aware of your upper back and your shoulders. Having your head down, you'll feel a little bit more of a deeper pull here. And then when you're ready, roll those shoulders back. Stay with that rotation. Think about how that direction feels, and then roll forward. And think about how that position feels. And you are going to decide which feels better for you today. Again, that will change on a daily basis. So stay with the direction that you prefer. I'm going to lift the arm up and change sides whenever you're ready. So a little pull back into the shoulder. Keep your abdominals strong. Keep the back strong. We're still firing up through the glutes. But just check a couple of things with me. Would you prefer to turn your hand in? Or do you prefer to have your hand palm facing forward? So which gives you the biggest range of movement? Stay with the position that you prefer. I'm going to rotate that right arm back. Change sides when you're ready. Let's open up the shoulder. Staying in that neutral spine position at the moment, we open up the chest. Now, some of you might prefer to keep your body facing forwards, and others of you might prefer to turn back. So just be aware of how that feels as you move. Well done. The other thing I want you to think about is, does your right shoulder feel different to your left? I know mine does. I've got a lot more clicking and clunking going on my left side than I have on my right. So does one shoulder need a little bit more TLC? Good work. I'm going to move laterally. So brushing over from side to side. You're still staying centered through your feet, but we're now trying to open up the waist. Open up through the back. Keeping the abdominals really nice and strong. And if you're feeling any discomfort in your lower back, bend your knees a little bit more. Well done. I'm going to come forward into a swoop and then release back into a stretch. Head comes down and then head goes back. Let me turn side on for you so you can see me. I want you to really be able to move through your chest and back. I'm over exaggerating it and I want you to do the same. Let's get some movement going on in this upper back and chest. We've come out of neutral. Do not worry. Well done. One more time. Perfect. Release the shoulders. Take a moment to take your feet wider. I want to stretch out through your legs here. So I'm placing my hand onto my thigh just above my knee, but some of you might prefer to reach the hand down towards the foot. Head stays up, push your bottom back. Now feel that stretch in the inner thigh. So do you want to stay there a little bit longer? Because ladies, if these muscles are tight, they are going to affect your balance. They're going to change the way your pelvis is. So I really want you to stretch them out as much as you need to. Good work. Great work, Sarah. Lovely, Anne-Marie. Gosh, you've got some depth there, my girl. She can get low on that. Yes, well done. Good work, Kat. Really nice, Sally. Excellent. Okay, when it feels good for you, you're going to bring your legs back up. Release through your feet. Now, I call this a pedal push. If I make it bigger, I also call it a cartoon walk. They are not official terms. So you could call it whatever you want, but I want you to get your feet to move. Well done. So let's mobilise through the feet a little bit more. I'm going to come up on the right, up on the left. Down on the right, down on the left. Little lift, and then lower. You may notice that your balance might be a little bit challenged there at the top. Be aware of how that feels for you. Good work. And then change and lead with the other side. So we lift, lift, lower and lower. And again, your balance might be different when you lead with your other side. But I want you to let the feet move. Well done. One more time. Great work. I'm going to bring my right leg forward and I want to just rotate that ankle through. I'm then going to bring it back and point and flex it. Let's do that again. Rotate forwards, go both directions, and then point and flex. So starting to move through the ankle, but also move through your hip. One more. And then with my leg, I'm going to come up with the knee and brush out to the side. Now we've got a couple of options here. You can stay in contact with the floor, or you can start to open that hip out if that feels good for you. I'm opening up through your pelvis. So I'm challenging your pelvic floor muscles straight away. I'm also challenging your balance. Good work. When that fire gets too much in that supporting leg, and it will, I want you to go back to your pedal through, ease off. And then change over to the other side. So I'll come forward with my rotations, and then brush back with my point and flex. I'm really trying to get the whole body a little bit more mobile, to be able to move more freer, to release tension in and around the joints. When you feel ready, that knee's going to come up and then open. And our shoulders stay level. It's like they're our stabilizers right now. We're also strong through this area. We can lift that leg if we wish. And the tempo is yours. Don't feel like you've got to work at my speed. You haven't. Well done. Pedal through your feet when you need to. Okay, I'm going to bring those feet under my hip bones again. Let's come down into a Pilates squat and then rotate out through the hip. So we're just using this to mobilize the hips and the knees. Only rotate as far as you wish. Only squat as low as you want. But do something for me. just check you're not pronating when you squat. Can you lift your toes? So you're putting all your weight into your heel. Yeah, you got that? Because if we can't lift our toes, we're putting too much weight forward. I'm going to do one more each side. Well done. Come to the back of your mats. I'm going to place those feet just underneath my hip bones again. Brace the belly, squeeze the bottom, drop my chin down on the chest. Coming down to a halfway point, put my hands just above my knees and create a flat back. And then roll and articulate up the spine. Roll those shoulders back. Option 1. Option 2, we could lift our arms up. Option 3, we could take a baby back bend. And then roll again when that feels good for you. Hands onto the thighs and we create that flat back. Inhale, exhale, and we rise. Roll through the shoulders. Lift again when you're ready. Inhale. Exhale and roll. So I'm just coming to this flat back position, lengthening out my spine and then articulating. Now I know everyone's backs are different. If you've got any problems with regards to your spine, especially the discs that lay in between each vertebrae, you're going to stay with this move. Also, if you know you've been diagnosed with osteoporosis or osteopenia, you're also going to stay with this move. Otherwise, if your backs are really healthy and you want to, we can take a full roll down. Inhale, keep the abdominals braced. Exhale. Articulation down to the floor. And then roll and lift. So there's no rush. And I also don't want you to feel like you have to take a full roll. I want you to do really what feels good for you. Well done, Sally, that's great. Zazina, that's lovely. Really nice mobility there. Excellent. Dropping just as far as you want to go. Think about how your back wants to move today. Good work, Janice. That's really nice. Excellent, Jessica. Feel free to shake out those shoulders if you need to. Fabulous. Let's make the next one our last one. So wherever you are, whether you're here or whether you're all the way down, we're going to make our way down to the floor. So we're going to come into calf stretch. Now some of you that might do yoga or body balance, you might know this as down face dog. But in Pilates we call it calf stretch because that's exactly what you're going to do. I want us to bend through one knee, feel the stretch in the other leg. Change over whenever you're ready. You're going to alternate through the legs. Be aware of how that feels as you move. Any problems with the wrists or shoulders, come down on your elbows. But I want you to give those back of the legs really a good stretch. Think about how they feel today. And any time that you need to or you want to, you can hold both legs straight. Perfect. We slowly drop our knees to the floor. Take a moment to place our hands under shoulders, knees under our hips. Roll up like a cat. And then ladies, go back to a lengthened spine. So we lift and roll, separate the shoulder blades, and then release. Do that as many times as you wish. And then anytime you're ready, sink back and walk the fingertips away. Now this is your rest and recovery position. You can come here anytime you want. Some of you will prefer to have the knees wider and let your body sink. And others of you will prefer to have your knees together and fold over. But whatever you're doing, settle the body. Hands over to one side of the room, the other hand on top. Head comes down low. Change over whenever you're ready. And then come back to centre. So I'm going to bring you down to the floor. And we're going to come into our first move. Bringing the arms along the floor here. Have your legs as wide as you wish. Have your arms as wide as you wish. Head comes down. Now feel free to use a block or maybe use a rolled up towel if you want to. Just underneath your forehead. We're going to brace the belly, squeeze the bottom. Start to lift opposite arm to leg. Lift up and squeeze. And then release. So really squeezing the bottom as you come up. Option 1, keep your head down. Option 2, take a little back extension. We lift up through the neck and the head, but I'm still looking down to the floor. Now, if anyone doesn't want to do that laying on their front, feel free to come on all fours. Hands on shoulders, knees under hips. But I do want you to check a little bit on hypermobility of your insides of your elbows. So they shouldn't be facing forwards like mine do. I've got quite a bad hypermobility in my elbows. So I need to turn those inwards. So they're facing each other. Brace the belly, and then we can lift opposite arm to leg. Only coming up to shoulder and hip height. Now squeeze the muscles in the bottom as you lift the leg. I'm going to flex my foot to make that work a little bit deeper. So you've got the choice to do it on your hands and knees, or you've got the choice to do it laying flat down. Well done. Now think about your hand position. Can you turn, as you lift your hand up, turn your thumb up? And what that will do is that will just engage the back of your shoulder a little bit more. Well done, Carrie. So that your palm is turned in. And you're lifting up there. And we're thinking about posterior chain. We want these muscles in the back of our body to be strong. So feel free to push back anytime you need to. You can rest, you can recover. Give that a good stretch. Well done. Really nice. We're then going to release through our back. Okay, from here, I'm going to bring you into a side position. Now, normally when I teach, I would go and move my teaching position to the side of the room. And I'd get you to all move the same way, with your heads all the same way, the legs all the same way. But obviously, because we're virtual, it's going to be different. So I just want you to come on your side. Now, lay yourself lovely and long. Feel free to rest your arm into the floor and your head down into the arm here. If that doesn't feel right for you, by all means you can use a cushion or a pillow or a rolled up towel, and you can be here instead. Think about your alignment. In an ideal world, we'd be in a straight line with our heel, our hip and our shoulder. But depending on your back and your pelvis, will depend on how you lay. So if you're quite curvy like me, you've got quite a lordotic spine, I need you to move your feet on the 45-degree angle. If you've got any discomfort in that hip, I want you to bend that knee. Maybe pad up your hip on the side of the body. Be comfortable for you. Whatever you're doing, you're going to lift the abdominals away from the floor. So think about bracing. Top arm is coming overhead. We're going to do a move called side bend. We inhale, as we exhale, we lift up. And then we lower down. So I'm coming up with my upper part of my body. And I'm crunching on the side of my waist. So my knees could be bent if I needed to. I could bend just one leg and have the other leg straight. Or both legs straight. As we lift up, we breathe out if you wish. And then breathe in as you come back. Good work. That's nice, Janice. Keep that lower leg bent as much as you want to. Move it as much as you need to. I want you to be able to feel this, ladies, in the side of your waist. So you're getting a little crunch for the obliques. And I don't want that under hip to be uncomfortable. So if it is, move the knee or pad up that hip as much as you need to. Just do as many as you feel you want to. When you feel you can't hold that position any longer, you're going to come up to sitting. Good work. That's it, really squeezing up on that side. So anytime you feel ready, you can bring yourself just into a seated position that feels good for you. And I know that's quite challenging, right, on that side of the body, moving laterally like that. Good work. Now ladies, if you need to, you can sit on a pillow, or you can sit on a towel, or maybe a block if you've got one. You can have your legs crossed. You could have your legs extended. You might even want your legs wide. We're going to do spine twist. So be comfortable for you. I want you to sit upright onto your sit bones. So if you find yourself falling back, you might want to grab that prop just under your bottom to keep you elevated. You can bend your knees as much as you need to here as well. I'm going to bring you back lovely and long. Brace the belly. Try not to go into neutral because you won't be able to. We're going to move the spine. We're taking our arms into a Cossack position. I'm placing my right hand on top, shoulders away from the ears. I'm going to twist to the right. Come back and twist to the left. When I come back, I'm going to switch my hands over and go round again. Now just breathe naturally as you do this. So after you've been right, left, you just switch again. You're following your elbow round, and you can move your legs anytime you need to. So ladies, this is our first option of our hands. You can move them if you want. Feel free to take them out wide. Lovely and long. And you can have your palms turned down. See how that feels for you. You can have your palms facing forwards. That's going to draw back the shoulders a little bit more. Be aware of how that feels. And you can have your palms turned up to really retract the shoulder blades and to get that spine to move for you. So we're bracing the abdominals, we're not sucking them in, we're not holding our breath, but we're getting our spine to move. Well done. As you start to fatigue, feel free to release. You can roll your shoulders back anytime you want to. And then you can slowly bring yourself onto the other side. Now there's no rush, but I want you to move when it feels good for you. That's it, well done. So find that position that suits you. Remember you can move your legs. Remember you can bend your lower leg. And you're coming up to that little crunch on the side of the waist. So think rib cage to hip bone, almost wanting them to kiss. That's it. Well done, Kate. Nice, Carrie. This should feel really nice and flowy. Well done, Lindsay, on that option there of the shoulder. That's good. Feel free to bend that lower leg if you need to. And the weird thing is as well, you'll find that one side of your body might feel different from the other. In a side crunch, you might have different balance here. One side might feel stronger and you might feel like you can come up higher on one side than you can on the other. And these are all the things that I just want you to remember within yourself. So we never compare ourselves. All we're trying to do is move better for us. Anything that ever causes us any discomfort, we don't do it, we change it. Great work. So the major thing about sideline position is not rocking too far forward or too far back. Coming up to that little crunch position, really almost visualizing you've got a piece of glass in front of you, one behind you. You can't touch the glass. That's it. So again, any time that you feel ready, you are going to roll on your back this time. Feel free to have your pillow or your towel behind your head. Let's take our arms wide like a scarecrow and roll our knees from right to left. So we're allowing our back to release. Just to get some movement in that lower part of the body. You can have your feet on the floor. You might want to have your feet wider. Roll your knee in. Some of you might want to have your knees together and even have your feet off the floor if you wish. We're letting this be a back mobility move at the moment. Well done. Now, whenever you feel ready, we're going to lift up into tabletop position. So, first of all, I want you to rock your pelvis forward and back. Find your point A, find your point C, find your point B. Stay in B. Now again, connect that breath. Visualize that basketball coming down on your tummy here. Let it bounce straight off. Some of you might prefer to have either your towel under your bottom, or maybe you want to use a mini ball under your bum there. Relax the arms. We're going to brace, lift the leg. We can stay with one leg if we prefer. Otherwise, both legs can come up. The knees are over the hip bones. We'll take a moment to exhale that leg away. Inhale to come back. Again, exhale to push. Inhale to release. If the breathing gets on your nerves, just breathe easy. as long as you're not holding your breath. And I'm flexing my foot as I go away, just to lengthen the back of the hamstrings a little bit more. Now there's no change in my back as I push that leg away. I'm bracing and staying strong in the abdominals. So this is single leg stretch. If I want to check and see whether or not my knees are coming in too close, I just extend my arms up towards my knees so they're on a diagonal. Now pull my fingers back because I'm checking with my heels of my hands, because I don't want to use my fingers because my fingers can bend. Now if my knees touch the heels of my hands, I know I'm bringing my legs in too close. So I want to stay with just the position that feels good for me. I can then relax my arms as much as I want to. And anytime you need to rest, place your feet into butterfly and give those hips a really nice stretch. Good work. And you can go back to your knee roll anytime you want to. So feel free to roll those knees from side to side just to loosen off. Perfect, guys. That's great. Well done. So when we feel we're fatigued in our single leg stretch, we can bring our knee roll in, take the ball or the towel away from our lower back. And then some of you might want to bring this up into a modification of the corkscrew. So from here I'm going to bring my legs to tabletop. I'm going to roll to one side but without crashing, and then bring it back and through to the other side. Now I can have a gap between my knees if I want to, or I can place those knees together. Some of you might prefer to put the towel or your mini ball in between the knees and squeeze to engage pelvic floor muscles a little bit deeper. My shoulders are wide like a scarecrow. They are my stabilizers, because I'm working through my back. I'm moving through my hips. Now, a couple of variations that you can do. We can extend the top leg if we want. Come back and change sides whenever that feels good for us. We can also extend the lower leg as we come up. So then that becomes my top leg. I then switch, pull up through my lower leg. That becomes then my top leg, and switch. It's a little bit of coordination for you, not too much. It's only there if you want it. You don't have to take it. Good work, Sarah. That's great. Yeah, nice. Nice on that changeover. Well done. And the feet can come down anytime you want to. Good work, Sally. That's it. And you can release and hug the knees in or put the feet on the floor. Stretch whenever you need. And you're working through the abdominals and through the side of your waist as you rotate. But also this can be a lovely back release. So it's a little bit like a double-ended sword, this one. Well done. Okay, I've got one more main move for you, and it's shoulder bridge. So So we're still thinking about spinal mobility. If you've got anything behind your head, just move it out of the way for the moment. I'm going to bring you here into this position. So our feet can be as wide as we want them to be, or they can be hip distance, wherever we feel comfortable. There's no law about where your feet should be on shoulder bridge. You're going to think about what's right for your pelvis and your back. The distance between the heels and the bottom is your choice. But if you ever feel any discomfort in your knees, take those feet further away. I'm going to rock you through a little pelvic tilt. So you're coming up and then push back. So we're going forward into point A, we're coming back into point C. Let's just work on this very, very lower part of our spine, this articulation here. How does that feel? And then you can stay there by all means if that feels good for you. Or we can go forward to point A and keep going. Roll up. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Come up to a little ski slope shape. With your knees the highest point of the slope, shoulders are the lowest. You're squeezing up through the glutes, lowering down when you wish to. Articulate the spine when the coccyx hits the floor. We release and roll again when you're ready. We're not hyperextending the spine. You're coming up to a lovely long diagonal. Well done. Now you've got a light brace on the belly, but we're really thinking about this being an articulation of our spine. And I want you to think about those 4 points of your foot again. Your big toe, your little toe, the back of your heel. Can you still feel them? Because if you can't, you need to move your feet so you can. We don't want to roll out through the feet or inwards through the feet. Sometimes that can tell us there might be a little bit of tightness through the hips, maybe IT band. Well done. Some of you ladies might want to bring in the arms. As you roll up, the arms can go back behind us. Now we're going to leave them on the floor and then articulate the back down, vertebrae by vertebrae. Coccyx hits the floor, we bring our arms down by our side when you're ready. Take a breath, inhale, exhale, lift. And then lower down when you're ready, vertebrae by vertebrae. Coccyx hits the floor, we bring those arms then down by our side. That's going to give you a deeper stretch through your lats. So, through your latissimus dorsi, which runs either side through your back. Be aware of how that feels. You've got a little bit of a hip stretch at the top as well, opening up those hip flexors. Good work. Anytime you want to, you can hug your knees in to counterbalance and to release. Fantastic. Well done, really nice. Good work, Kate. Good work, Wendy. That's it, give that release. Okay, ladies, if you have got either a band or possibly a towel, you might want to grab it because we're going to use it behind the legs to release them. If you haven't, don't worry because you can do this without. It's totally fine. Otherwise, bringing your band or your towel around your right leg, I want you to gradually pull this towards you. If the back of the leg feels tight, We can bend our knee, breathe in, breathe out, straighten the leg. So just to work through the back of the leg in our own time. Relax the head, maybe you want to place that pillow or towel again behind it to cushion through the neck. I want you to be comfortable here. And your left leg can either be bent or straight. So whenever you feel ready, we're going to hold that leg straight. Try not to lock the knee though. And then flex the foot and point the toes. I want you to release through the ankle. Whenever you're ready, ladies, you're going to hold that foot flexed. Pull the toes down to you. Now we're going to tap into a little bit of flossing of the sciatic nerve. We use this as a prevention rather than a cure, okay, for sciatica. So we're going to hold here. The head will come up, chin on the chest. Pull the toes down. Come up to the point of tension or tightness and then lower down. So we're not staying there, we're going to work through. Lift to the point of tension or tightness and then lower down. So the reason I'm putting my chin on my chest is because I'm really trying to stretch out from the very, very top of my spinal cord. All the way down to where the sciatic nerve finishes at the bottom of my heel. Now I can do this as many times as I wish, till that starts to ease off. Breathe out. When that happens, head stays down. Keep the foot flexed and then turn your toes at the angle. They point towards your opposite shoulder. We're going to pull on that band or on the leg a little bit more towards our opposite shoulder. Pelvis still stays down in the ground, but notice how that stretch feels. Has that changed the stretch for you? We then turn the foot the other way. So the heel is in and the toes go wide. And we notice how that stretch feels for us. Still pelvis is level. Okay, think about those three positions. Which do you feel is the best stretch for you? Is it foot parallel? Is it toes turned in? Is it toes turned out? Stay with the most effective stretch for you. Well done. We hold on with the same arm as leg. Right hand, right leg. Open that leg wide to the side. So the stretch is coming in through our inner thigh, our adductors. Pelvis stays level. So if you find your pelvis starts to twist, bring that leg back in, recorrect, and only take it out as far as you want to go. We can extend the left leg to the floor now if you wish. Now with your foot, again you can flex it if you want to deepen that stretch a little bit more. Maybe try it with your toes turned in again. Or your toes turned out. Whenever you're ready, bring the leg back up. We're going to switch the hands over now rather than the leg and pull that leg across. My hip lifts now. Shoulder stays down into the floor. But ladies, I can bend this knee as much as I need to. So have a go with a bent knee, have a go with a straight leg. Which feels the best for you? Maybe again flex the foot. Again, you could turn the foot if you wish. But I want you to feel this stretch coming down through the outer thigh, the hip, the bottom, the lower back, maybe all the way up to your shoulder. The leg comes back up to the ceiling. Again, we can lift our head and shoulders if we wish. Just one more time here. And then lower down when you're ready. Change over to the other side when that feels good for you. So again, we can bend and straighten, allowing the back of the leg to release. Our right leg can be bent or straight. If we are using a band or a towel, the closer the hands are up to the foot, the deeper the stretch will be. Only when I feel ready, I'm going to hold that leg straight, but not lock the knee. Flex the foot, point the toes. Well done. Give that a bit of a release. You might tap into the calf and the Achilles tendon here. Well done. I'm going to hold that foot flexed. Again, tapping into a little bit of that sciatic nerve massage. Let's lift the head up, chin on the chest. Lower down when we wish. Coming up to the point of tension or tightness. And then lowering down. Keeping this going for me. And obviously, like I said, this is more of a prevention rather than a cure. So if you are suffering with sciatica at the moment, this might be a little bit too much for you and you might want to just stay onto that stretch for the normal hamstrings. Well done. Whenever you feel ready, ladies, you're going to stay with your head down and then turn your toes at the angle. See how that feels for you as you take a breath, and then turn the foot the other way whenever you're ready. And then think about out of those three positions, which feels the best for you. Is it foot parallel? Is it turned in? Is it turned out? Well done. You know, we don't keep our feet parallel when we move, when we walk, when we, run, whatever it is that we're doing. So often, if we only ever stretch with our feet in parallel, we're actually not stretching a lot of the muscles that we've been using. So when it feels good for you, hold on, left arm, and then open that leg wide to the side. Feel that stretch coming through your adductors. Give yourself a little bit of time, keep the pelvis level, feel free to move it back up if you need to. Just see how that feels. So Zena, I know you said about your hip injury, so be careful, only go as far as you want. Well done. Staying there, ladies, as long as you need to. And then as you bring that leg back up, just straightening out the other leg if you haven't already, you're coming across the body. Coming into that outer thigh, outer hip, lower back, up into the shoulders. I always find that if I bend my knee, I feel it more in my bum. If I straighten my leg and flex my foot, I feel it more kind of in that IT band area. But everyone's different, everyone feels things different ways. Good work. Only when it feels good for you, you're going to bring it back to center. And then release there. Take a little rock on your back to bring you up to sitting. Perfect. We take one hand down, we're going to stretch out through the waist. We've done quite a lot of work for the side of our waist today. So give this area a good stretch. Change over when that feels good for you. And I always do a deep hamstring release just because so many people's kind of backs have issues which aren't really an issue with the back. It's more to do with the tightness of the hamstrings. So slowly, ladies, when it feels good for you, I'm going to bring you to kneeling. Now you might wish to have a little bit of padding underneath one of your knees. Otherwise, this other leg is going to come forward and I'm going to take a hip release here. So bringing your pelvis again forward to point A, back to point C. We're going to stay in A. Hold there. Now lean back slightly. I want you to open up this whole area, this hip. Maybe this quad if you're tight there. Some of you might want to lift the arm. You might want to lean over. But for me personally, that hip's tight enough. I can stay there and feel that no issue. Well done. Change over when you're ready. So I'm just going to turn side on so you can see me. My pelvis is going to rock forward and back. And then only when I'm ready, I'm going to stay forward, tuck into that position. Almost like I'm trying to tuck my tailbone through my legs. Holding here. And then again, you can lift your arm if you want to. You can lean over if you want to, as far as you wish. You'll slowly come back to your calf stretch. Now ladies, just do a comparison between the start of the class and now. Does that feel any easier? Can you get your heels to the floor any closer? Slowly take a walk back to your feet. Recorrect your feet under your pelvic bones and then gently rise. Vertebrae by vertebrae. Bring the neck and head up last and roll your shoulders back. Now let's be aware of those shoulders again. I want you to rotate through. Just see how it feels. If you prefer, keep the hand onto the shoulder if that feels better for you. Or of course, you could just roll the shoulder. But I want you to compare again to the start of the class. Does that feel any easier? And then let's take that breath, inhale. We're going to come down to the roll down that's right for us. So maybe it's halfway, hands onto the thighs, look forward, stretch your bottom, or maybe it is full roll down. Take a breath, inhale, exhale and roll. And one more time. As you come over this time, you are letting go of any last little bit of tension from the body, but also any last limitations that you are holding on to within yourself. Inhale, exhale and roll. We take a breath. As we breathe out, down to prayer position, bring yourself back into your perfect Pilates posture, just like you did at the start of the class. Take another breath. As you exhale now, we bring our back into neutral. We brace the belly and squeeze the bottom. Feel strong through that center. And then one more time, inhale. And as you exhale, you grow taller. Shoulders away from your ears, your neck is lovely and long. Let's lift the arm. And the other side. Bring those hands forward. And again, we turn the hands in. And again, and we give ourselves and each other a superb round of applause. Ladies, I really hope that that feels okay for you, that you feel all right. Now, if I was doing this as my live class for my participants for my assessment, I would be asking for some feedback on how you felt. So I'm just going to stop the video now from here.